Hello everyone and welcome back to Timberborn. This is episode 6 of the One Pod Challenge. In the last episode we worked on expanding our water wheels over here. We also got a number cruncher up and running. And now we are producing a large amount of science, 10 every hour from the number cruncher alone. We also unlocked our first job that we can put the bot in using science. And now that we are not limited to the 5 original jobs that did not require science to put the bots in those jobs, we can go ahead and start ramping up bot production. But before we do that, let's go ahead and look at completing our water wheel circuit over here. We have a couple more that are attached to this whole circuit, and now we don't actually need the engine up and running, since you can see we have about 12 to 1300 HP that is being produced out of the 1100 that we need. Overall things are looking pretty good, but we are running a little bit low on scrap metal. We do have this guy over here. Is he collecting scrap metal in the woods? I think we should get a second beaver working over here. So we'll get this created. We have a few jobs that we can spare, so we'll have one of them go in here. And now that we have all the levees placed here, you can see the bad water is being channelized through here. And these water wheels are producing about 150 to 160 HP. These ones are producing drastically less. And then as soon as we finish creating this last levee and power shaft, we can go ahead and look at getting another bot part factory set up right next to it. And it looks like we should have enough of all the resources to finish this right off the bat. So that'll help us get some more parts, and then we can maybe look at getting another worker placed in here. And we are rolling in science. We have 1.5 thousand. Let's go ahead and get the explosives factory unlocked for 400. And then we can also get these triple platforms unlocked. We'll place one right here. But for now, we're actually going to need to place some stairs in order to get over here. And surprisingly, it looks like we actually have another drought incoming. 2.9 days. Of the 9 events that will have occurred, we've only had one bad tide. So we have been pretty fortunate. And I think we're in a good spot to get ready for the next bad tide. I do notice that we only have 7 bots, and Ironbot 8 was created. But Ironbot 1 officially broke down, so now we just have to make sure that we create more Ironbots, then can fall apart. You can see that the Ironbots starting at Ironbot 2, they increase in durability just a little bit. And there's actually a pretty big gap between Ironbot 7 and 8. With the drought incoming, we are going to be facing a power shortage, unfortunately. And that will mean that we'll have to pause these bot assemblers and bot part factories, unfortunately. Plus we'll need to pause the number cruncher, but we're doing great on science. We're already back up to 1,500. And this is actually a bit of a longer drought. It is 9 days long. It's not going to be great for power production. Once we get this explosives factory up and running, we'll have to see which jobs we want to keep going. But we can look at removing some of the dirt blocks over here with the dynamite, and then we can get a second engine placed right here. And it looks like we did just finish building the explosives factory. We can now utilize the bad water, although we do need to make sure that we have some storage. We can go ahead and switch the kohlrabi to explosives. And I cannot wait until we can remove all of these really small storages and get some larger ones placed here. We can also unlock the dynamite for 600 science, and then we'll go ahead and start placing it all around here. Now that we have a clear path over here, we'll go ahead and get rid of these stairs and these stairs, and then just connect this in directly. And I removed access to place the dynamite up here, but we'll just get some place where we can blow it up, and then we'll make some more stairs getting up here. I'm also looking at how I actually ended up placing these water wheels. And we don't really need to have these over here, so we could shift these ones over by one, and then we could actually shift the walls over here, which will give us a smaller footprint, and then we can fit another, I guess you could say, row of water wheels adjacent to it without having it protrude as far out. So while the bad water is not flowing and we don't need the power, we're going to go ahead and try and update this section and move this wall in. So we are allowing the beavers to work on all of this. I plan on having them work their way down this way, that way they don't trap themselves. We can also have the bots work on getting the second engine created once they have placed some of the dynamite down here. And they place it down pretty quickly, so we'll go ahead and get this attached. Looks like they have already started to work on it. I haven't even assigned it to be prioritized. Looks like they have almost finished building this engine. Unfortunately, we're running pretty low on wood. But on the bright side, we do have a lot of wood that's down here. So as long as we have them collect it, then our wood storage should start to increase. And one thing I do want to look at is getting the tubeway station set up. It costs a decent amount of science to get all of these, but we have the number cruncher, which should be up and running in just a few days. Looks like it takes planks and metal primarily, and we will have to be careful with the amount of wood we have, and with planks being used to make gears and be used in the bots. But that could be very helpful in getting some transportation system set up. I think the first thing that I want to do is get a tubeway station set up over here and allow this scrap metal collector to more efficiently get back and forth. And then once we've been able to level this area, we can look at getting another tubeway station set up somewhere over here and expand where we have our tree farm. So let's go ahead and actually unlock this two-way station, and then I'm going to place it right here. We can move the farmhouse down the road, but I want to have the tubes go in this direction and then all along here. So we'll start placing some of these tubes down. Now if we get a centrifuge, that would make exploding all of the land over here go a lot faster. Takes 600 science. We don't have really any right now since we just use it on the tubes over here. But I think for now we're going to look at lowering at least some portion of this with the single dynamite. And the drought has officially ended. Hopefully the bad water will come back pretty soon. Then we can get all of these buildings up and running once again. And the bad water is just about to start flowing through here. It'll start up all these water wheels so we can go ahead and preemptively unpause the number cruncher. And now we do have to be careful. You can see we actually have 3 incapacitated beavers, 6 vacant jobs. So we're going to do a little bit of rearranging right now. So we are getting some more bots now. We have 9 bots that are working. As soon as we get 1,000 science, I'm going to want to get this switched to bots. Having a smelter running 24/7 will be very helpful. Looks like we're actually running a little bit low on water. Let's throw a bot back into the water pump. And just so you guys know, I am recording these videos a few episodes ahead. So if I haven't incorporated any of your comments, that is most likely why. I probably haven't even seen it yet as of recording this episode. Unfortunately, the beavers are getting injured quite a bit. I am assuming that the explosives factory plus these bot jobs are not helping. But as soon as we hit that 1,000 science mark, we can switch a bot into the smelter. Looks like we just hit the 1,000 science mark. Go ahead and switch this to bots. And I think do we just have another bot created? It looks like it. So once again, those 2 vacant jobs are going to be the farmhouse right here. Man, we are just having beavers get wiped out by these jobs. I think it might be the explosives factory, because this one, as soon as this was created, we've had beavers going into the hospital beds left and right. Ooh, this bot wandered all the way over to the scrap metal collection facility, and he is running pretty low on energy. Oh, there he is. He is now walking crazy slow. You know, I think we actually could have a solution to that. There are some scrap metal facilities, the ruins, much closer, and now that we have bots, we can actually have them collect scrap metal underwater. I think the only thing would be that we need to have the actual scavenger flags be above ground, so we'll probably have them placed right here, have them go down and collect it, and then come back up. So let's go ahead and pause this guy for now, which might actually make this whole tube station kind of obsolete. Although we can use it in the future, we can, if we don't end up using it over here, we can at the very least use it for the mine down here. You would just make another tube station on some platforms above this whole watering hole. Cost 500 science to unlock this, and we have enough. Now we just need to make sure that they prioritize building all of these. Unfortunately, it looks like nearly all the scrap metal is way over here, and we don't have enough beavers to actually go in the hauling post right now. So we just got to get this scrap metal collection facility up and running, and really it's just getting the path all the way down here set up. I think for now it's actually worth pausing the explosives factory. It is nice to get some of this area cleared out, but we're not using it immediately, and I don't think it's worth the injured beavers at this point. So we have gotten a decent amount done. We are not really increasing our population that much, and I think part of that is also due to the fact that we had to turn off this whole facility during the drought. And I think that that means that we need to get another engine up and running. We don't need to use it right now, but during the next drought or bad tide, well, I guess just during the next drought, then we can go ahead and turn all three of these on. Looks like we simultaneously had IronBot 4 breakdown and also have IronBot 13 created. So we are once again back to 9 bots who are working, and looks like we have a bad tide approaching in 3 days. I just decided to start setting something up over here, basically to block this section of our food production from the bad water. Last time it didn't really affect us at all, but the bad tide was also only 1 day long. So we'll see if we can get this created in time. I will plan on putting a fluid dump somewhere over here just to keep this area purely water. We will go ahead and bump up the amount of workers we have in this district center. I'll see if I can squeeze any other bots into that position. The bots are working as hard as they can. We have 4 of them in the district center right now. They're making good progress. They constructed most of this with just 2 bots, but with only 0.8 days left, I don't know if they'll quite be able to finish it in time. Thankfully, it does take a little while for the bad water to raise up and then spread over here, and we could get lucky again with the bad tide being only 1 or 2 days long. It is going to be pretty close, 0.1 days, and then they have just these 3 parts of the building left. Looks like we did once again get lucky, only a 1 day bad tide. So this whole structure might not even be necessary for this bad tide. Oh, we just had a bot decompose or break down. Looks like IronBot 5 bit the dust. So we're once again, oh, looks like we have 10 beaver workers, or 10 bot workers I should say. They just finished creating another bot. And one of the benefits of the bad tide is that we have all of these buildings up and running at full capacity, creating a bunch of power. Don't actually have too much power demand right now, since we have a couple of the buildings over here paused. And I know I said in the last episode that I thought that things might start taking off quicker this episode, which to some extent they did, but I think that now we can have more bots be created with a couple of these bot part assemblers, and now we have this bot assembler that is working full time. I think I said bot part assembler, I meant bot part factory. Looks like the bad tide is over, and we actually have some bots sitting around. Let's reduce that down, and then we'll unpause this farmhouse once again. We actually have no vacant jobs right now in either the bots or the beavers. Looks like metal blocks have been lacking a little bit. We can go ahead and increase the amount of haulers that we have, which having the additional hauler should help the smelter run more efficiently since they should be bringing him the scrap metal. And then we can also get another bot in the lumber mill, help increase the amount of planks that we have since we've been using quite a bit. Unfortunately, the bad water is blocking the showers. I do remember it blocking it for a few days before it had all flushed out of here. And you can see it is a little bit discolored as the water's coming out. We are running a little bit low on wood. We have 100, and we do have, I believe, 3 workers who are chopping down wood, but we are near the end of what we can collect over here. We have some trees that are up here that are dead, and we can chop them down, but they're not producing wood. So with the 2.3 thousand science, we're going to go ahead and switch this to bots, and then we'll go ahead and turn it back on. We'll work on getting some more explosives, and now that won't be hindering the amount of beavers that we have, since the bots don't get injured like beavers do. And then the next thing we want to look at is getting a centrifuge set up, 600 science, so it'll take us just a little bit to get that. Let's go ahead and pause this. We are completely maxed out on water. Don't need that bot working either. Now there has been one thing that I have been completely ignoring up until now, and that has been food. I've been setting this on autopilot basically. We have kohlrabi that sustains the beavers, that's good enough. But I do want to start looking at expanding our food production. Cassavas are the next logical thing, since they are relatively easy to grow, harvest, and also transform into edible food. So we'll let this bot go through all of the kohlrabi over here, and then we can have him start planting some cassavas. We will need to look at getting a fermenter set up. I removed the inventor sets from right here and unpaused these 2 for now, since I think this would be a good spot to get a fermenter set up. And they created that immediately. We'll go ahead and switch this to fermenter cassavas, but we can pause it for now. Switching it to bots will be 750 science, which looks like we have that. But with the science, I do want to get the centrifuge set up. In fact, we're going to have this one placed right up here. I will get another bot assembler, but we'll place that over here on top of the future bot part factory. But we do need to get a path set up over here. This will be pretty convenient for the beaver or bot working in here since the bad water is located right next door. I think it's worth getting another smelter set up since we're running so low on metal blocks. We'll go ahead and place it right next to the explosives factory over here. We will need to look at how many beavers and bots we have available to work in all these jobs. And part of the metal blocks problem may also be the amount of scrap metal that we have. So we'll get a second one of these created. And that is going to wrap up today's episode. We did quite a bit. We got a little bit stumped, it seemed, at times. But overall, we're making good progress. I think we're in a good spot that we can start making bots faster and faster. Now that we have 2 bot part factories and a full-time bot assembler running. We're running into a few hiccups with the amount of resources that we have. Metal blocks right now are kind of the linchpin, but we're doing everything we can to mitigate that with the second smelter and a second scavenger flag over here. And we did get the first tube station set up. Unfortunately, we're not actually really able to use it so far, but with the tubeways requiring metal blocks and planks, which we are running low on both of those, it is not the best time to be constructing this, but I'm determined to make sure that we get this going and use it to some extent. I think we could look at getting a mine set up over here. Since they have one down below, we could have some bots working down there. But that is all we have for today, and I am looking forward to the next episode. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys then.